Welcome to Surviving Roots, the podcast where we journey through the complexities of our emotions together. I'm your host, Cari, and I'm here to guide you on a path of self-discovery, understanding, and healing. In each episode, we'll explore a range of emotions and experiences, from navigating grief and trauma to managing stress and anxiety. Through candid conversations, expert insights, and practical strategies, we'll uncover the tools you need to navigate life's emotional landscape with resilience and grace. So, let's embark on this transformative journey together. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself this time. This podcast is for you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited to introduce my guest today. She has played a huge part in my healing journey, actually, really the catalyst that started it all. Her name is Tiffany Levy. She has developed a lifelong love for the transformative practice of yoga and specializes in trauma, restorative, and stress relief. She's the co-founder of 420 Space Yoga in Miami, and she leads retreats worldwide. She's been mentioned in Wall Street Journal, Thrillist, Miami New Times, and more. And I'm so excited to share her many gifts with you today. She is a gem. Tiffany, thank you for being here.
Thank you. You've already brought tears to my eyes.
Oh my gosh. I told myself I am not going to cry on this podcast because we'll get into it, but I told myself I'm not going to cry.
There might be some tears in this journey.
Well, I have to explain how we first met because it was a very powerful experience for me. It really led to me writing my book. You're actually the intro into my book and why I'm launching this podcast now. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath because your eyes are like hypnotizing and you truly are going to cause emotion. I just have to say how we met. So everyone, one morning, I accepted a last minute invitation to a private yoga and meditation class at my neighbor's house. And I showed up for class that morning, not knowing how I would be showing up for myself. I didn't even really like yoga. And the first time I saw Tiffany, I was like, this woman is a gem. And you had all that love and light that someone connected to the universe I would expect to. And you just had like major positive vibes, so much that your energy made me uneasy because it shined a spotlight on the feelings that I was keeping down and ignoring. And that day, I truly connected, I think, for the first time to my pain, which has really shifted into my purpose. So I want to start off by saying thank you, Tiffany.
It's my honor. And I knew I was like part of it, but I didn't realize I was such a big catalyst. And I gratefully received that love because I channel. And it's interesting how we even found each other. Like I just ran into my old dear friend of 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And we're on such different journeys. And I was like, Missy, come do yoga with me. And she's like, I need it. And then she says, I want to bring my friend Cari. And this is how that started. Like we only did maybe 2 sessions. She's like, Cari, it wasn't that Cari was going to love it.
Yeah.
But we needed. And that's how it shows up for us. It shows up when we're ready and right when we need it.
Well,
it's not linear.
I was definitely needing it more than I ever knew.
And like part of my tears are just that you perceive me as such love and light because my journey was so dark. And so many layers of these things that we call trauma, which we like to relabel them and turn it in, as you just said it in the most powerful words.
Love you. Pain to purpose.
Pain to purpose. And we just shifted in, and I don't know, I see it in the body. And yoga is the easiest term we can use, and the work that I find myself called to do in this lifetime, because in your body we hold it, and it's nice to actually be able to identify it as a pain because you are 20,000 steps ahead of everyone that gets started in these journeys. You're already identifying with something, you were feeling it. So you're ready. You're ready for the restorative yoga, the healing yoga.
Well, I want to ask you about that because you say your journey. There's so many types of yoga, and I want to know like what led you to your passion focusing on the restorative yoga.
Yoga has been a long journey since I was 19. I was in a head-on car accident, and it wasn't the physical traumas that hurt me then. It was what I saw. I saw a car coming. I saw the girl's eyes. She still hit me head on. The car splitting up. I remember the accident like a movie.
Oh,
And so I was holding the traumas in my body. So although it was just, this sounds silly, but oh, it's just a hip tear. Oh, you just had your seatbelt sliced through your stomach. Oh, that's it. But I was okay considering the other person. So that younger child had to find some things outside of medicines. And
yeah.
there were alternatives, sound healing,
Okay.
and some sound bowls, and
Love
those
that.
things were really weird to me then, but that started the journey. So it came through needing body work. The body worker found a sound healer. The sound healer found a shaman. A shaman was chanting over me. And all of a sudden, like I was like this. I was so scared. My body was like this,
Yeah.
tremoring. I was
Wow.
that's trauma.
That's trauma.
But there's layers of trauma, there's dimensions of trauma, and that's a physical trauma. So I found it through physical trauma. It led into a lifelong of wellness, and now what we call wellness. Back then it was just
Yeah.
working out, health.
Working out.
You were conscious, you were a fit person, but it took all of it, and I learned young. I did study it, but I took a business path, and then later on I got hit by a car in South Beach. What did I do? I found the modalities that help me, and even more, like breath work, holotropic breath work. A lot of people do ayahuasca. I chose breath work. So
Okay.
you're called to what you're called to help you. But I found the path at 19, and I practice all forms of yoga. And to be really honest, the workout yoga is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Restorative, Iyengar, Yin, intuitive practices. This is what healed me. Help
That's
me,
what healed you.
because the healer is in you.
Yeah.
And those healers were trying to tell me this, but if that 19-year-old girl, if I could tell her anything, it would have been practice it more. Like
Practice.
in every moment, every time I was triggered by a car or scared of a car, I was breathing deeply. But 20 something years ago, I didn't realize that that was the practice.
Right.
Your awareness, your pause, to keep from going back to the trigger, the trauma, oh my God, I'm gonna get hit. Oh my God.
Right.
That
Right.
when I'm in the car, if you clinch, or if say that I like to use an easier one. If you get road rage,
Yeah.
your immediate reaction is this. You see this in the shoulders to the ears, but if you take a breath, you can roll your shoulders down, and that person, whatever, it already happened.
Yeah.
So it's a tool that you can use in every moment, not just on a mat.
See, I think this is so important for people to hear because so many times it's hard to face our pain or face our fears. And when we face them, they truly teach us like who we are, where we're at. And that's how we can shift towards greater self-awareness, greater self-worth, greater self-love, and actually truly do what you're doing, healing, so you don't have a trauma response like you just described. Like, I want to know, like, so because when you said this to me that day that we did our first class, when we hold like pain and trauma in the bones, like people listening, like what are some symptoms or what are some ways that people can tell that they are holding pain or trauma within them? Like, what does that mean? What are some symptoms or what are some ways we can find out or tell?
We'll take a breath into this because there's so many things that are downloading at one time.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
to
going to
make
take a breath with you.
let's take a breath. Sigh out. Yes, it's there's a lot of things to identify, and labeling an uncomfortable pain or a tight rib cage, meaning your heart's closed in, or you can't breathe, you're breathing in your upper lungs, anxiety.
Mhm.
I'd like to say where to start with this is the question, because the physical, the body, holds these energies. And I would like to say, to break this down, trauma is an experience that your cells are holding as a negative memory. Emotions are energy and movement. And the reason I'm going out, trying to,
Mhm.
your body, it holds it in different places, and each person, each human is going to feel differently. It's going to hold these traumas differently, or I don't like to call them traumas anymore, because we have a choice to name them and we have a choice to move the energy out. And emotional energy sits in different places:
Okay.
your heart, your gut, your head. So the body has these responses that creates, your sympathetic nervous system triggers to fight or flight, which is considered this trauma line. And the reason I'm doing this is because I would just want you to take an inhale, exhale when I'm doing that. As you exhale, you see that it decreases. And
Okay.
so depends on you, the listener, but us, let's use an example. Where did you feel in the body that was holding this traumas or the pains? So I can go from that instance.
Well, I remember when you had us on the mat and we were doing something with our hips. It was almost like a stretch that was stretching my hips. And that's when I started to get emotional, teary. I was still good at controlling my emotions, so I hadn't lost it yet. But I remember it was almost sort of like a runner's stretch almost, but we were stretching our hips.
Yeah.
So what do you hold in your hips? Because that was a pain point for me.
Listen, I actually wrote that down because, and that's why I needed a specific place.
Okay.
So the hips are where it's close to your root chakra,
Okay.
reproductive organs. Like, not going to go too science, but there's science behind everything that I'm going to tell you. And I know that, like, we didn't get into it, but I studied the background of all this through practice, and then also studied the science side of it.
Okay.
So your hips are connected to how you get to everything. The start, the beginning, they're like your roots to the earth, and your hips hold emotions,
Okay.
and they get stiff or hard. And what's funny is you would think, oh, I love that you called it a runner's lunge, because it's like a lizard pose or a pigeon pose, half split. It was one of these. And
Yeah.
those are probably the three best things you can do, but you need to warm up to get there. I'm not going to say, hey, these three movements, poses, postures, asanas, there's so many labels to all of this.
Yeah.
They're not going to solve all of your problems at once, but they will help you lean into it.
Okay.
And in that practice, the reason we practice the physical movement is so you can pause and lean and feel into it. And our cells are a storage system of emotions, and specifically your hips. It's a great place to start if you're coming into a yoga practice and you want to just Google, give me some hip stuff, and you'll find yourself crying. We hold into like a yin practice, so we do at least 3 minutes, and those 3 minutes layers. So you go from your bones, you go from your ligaments, your joints, your myofascial tissues to your muscles, and think of all of that. All of that has memory, and your hips like this, and it's right here by your reproductive organs, right? And it's
Yeah.
all the emotions we hold. And if we were just taught just to move, that's why we jump around and exercise. Remember, as a little kid, we're like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just felt great. Now we're like, oh, why do I look like that? Oh my God, someone's looking at me. Ugh, ugh. So that's still that emotion stuck there that we always have a chance to stop and lean into it, jump on your mat. I would say have a great guide. I had a lot of great teachers. I still am a student, and every time I go to a lizard pose, I cry.
You're making me wonder if that's why I'm sort of like have bigger hips and I'm hippie, because since my childhood, I have so many emotions. That's probably why I have bigger hips, because I need the storage space. Jeez, seriously, it makes sense now.
We're given these bodies as a blessing to the soul, right? And society and the internet, they want us to compare our sizes, but you just made a very great point. And this is how our ancestors, this is the work. The work is being able to say, like, me and my cousin were just together, and my mom's side and my dad's side of my family have never been together. Guys, I'm 44 years old.
Oh
my
my
hips are
gosh.
so much bigger than her. We laughed about this.
Really?
I'm like 5 times bigger than her. I was like, oh, I went through so much more emotional stuff.
Yeah.
I eat more than you. I had so
We,
many excuses. But no, we're just made like this.
we need the storage space.
We need that storage space, because you're going to go out there and help millions of people with those emotions holding in your hips.
Oh my God. Well, it's so true, because we always think like the greatest threat is outside of us, but honestly, it's the one that comes from within. And one thing I've learned through this process is that it's all such an inside job. Everything is such an inside job.
It really is. It's full-time work.
Yeah, it really is. One thing I've been wanting to ask you, and this is where I'm not going to get emotional, I'm not going to cry, but from our first session, there's one question that I've been wanting to ask you, and this session we had was probably 3.5 years ago. But I remember after the yoga, we were sitting down, we were doing a little bit of meditation, and you asked us to close our eyes, and you asked us a question. You said, if you could meet yourself as a child, what would you say to her? And in that moment, I remember seeing myself so vividly. I was sitting on the front steps of my childhood home. I must have been about 7 years old. I literally can see my blonde bob cut, my blue jeans, even the little alligator on my green Izod shirt, wearing a yellow rain jacket. The sky was overcast and I was alone. And I just remember this tsunami of sadness like destroyed me in a moment where I started using your yoga mat as a Kleenex. And I heard myself say to that little girl, I am so sorry. I am sorry. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost it. I'm not going to cry, Cari, not today.
No, crying is such a good way of energy.
I know, but I still feel that moment from 3.5 years ago with you. And I have always wanted to ask you, why did you ask us that question? Why did you want us to see ourselves as a child and say something? I need that answer, Tiffany.
Honestly, I want to say I'm also going to just pause into that, because it's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And I don't have a specific answer of why I said that, but it comes to me. And those little, like, I don't want to just say girls, because the little child in us is still us. And those, going back to what I said, I have chills everywhere, because those memories live in ourselves.
Yeah.
And we do deserve to go back to that little child and give her better memories and give her a better story.
I love that.
The best advice someone ever gave me was change the story, change the story, change it. And it kept coming back to this poor little girl. And like for your situation, I don't know if you want to speak on it, but if I may, I will ask you, how did you feel after that?
I will be honest, for probably that day, I felt really broken and sad, because at the time, I didn't realize that it wasn't really sadness, that it was just a reminder that I have work to do. It was a sign from my body saying, you're not okay, Cari. Stop telling yourself you're fine. Stop pretending that you're fine. Yeah.
My Palo Santo just caught on fire.
It was a reminder. It was a reminder that I wasn't fine. And I will tell you, after that day, I went and picked up my kids from school. I came home and I realized I have a lot of work to do because my past is really still thriving inside of me. And the biggest thing I want in life as a mother and as a cycle breaker is to never let my past be in my parenting. And I had a lot of self work to do. And that emotional breakdown was probably decades of storage, pretending that I had been fine. So it was a great release. It showed me a pain point, which I have shifted into power. And it's helped me create a proposal, a platform, a podcast now. And I just have gotten a chance to connect with people like you and lean into women. That's the thing I think I've learned is that you can lean into women and you can trust women and you can create the family that you've always dreamed of, whether it's through friends. I mean, it's that was that breaking point on your yoga mat. And I really did use it as a Kleenex. I don't know what was more embarrassing, crying in front of my friend and you or using your yoga mat as a Kleenex. But that release of sadness that day was honestly like a tsunami. And it showed me, it gave me a glimpse of what healing could really feel like. And it feels amazing. And I think something that you keep saying is that change your story. I want everyone to know as a reminder that you have a choice. It's so hard, but yet it's so simple. You have a choice. Choose happiness.
Today's journal. I have a choice. It doesn't matter how much I practice yoga. You practice yoga or you practice mindfulness. You are constantly reminding yourself, pause, breathe through it. Because your first reaction, that's not where we live.
Yeah.
That's all this given to you stuff, the past stuff, but the choice. The choice is about 5 breaths later. You look back. That little girl, I have chills, I'm gonna cry. She needs a hug. She needs to be told it's okay because that little girl is still living in us. It's just all growing. And then you look back and it's a lesson now.
Yeah.
And lessons turn into your blessings. As you said, pain to purpose. You're writing your book. You're helping I don't even have children, but when I watch your post, it's like an algorithm change for me. I am so inspired by you because
oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
you do deserve to let people know you do not have to be the same person your parent was. You have a choice and you have a choice to heal. You have a choice to go back. And it is very uncomfortable. It can be tear jerking, but there's a lot of glory in it. There's a lot of grace found, a lot of peace. A lot of peace. The heart needs this.
There's a beautiful journey waiting on the other side. You just have to transform and get over there.
Rainbows are not made without storms.
Yeah. You just showed your journal. One of the things I wanted to ask you is I really identify you as like this unicorn, this beam of light. And you can see it in your eyes. Like I noticed you sparkle. And I noticed this the first time I met you. And I just would love to know, what are some of your daily self-care rituals? If you wouldn't mind sharing, like how are you this unicorn? Like, I mean, what are some of your daily self-care rituals? Please share them with us. And how often do you do them? Do you mix them up? Like, I want to know.
Self-care, wellness, well-being, mindset, intentions, prayers, whatever you want to call it. I do it all. I wake up and I check in. How's my engines running? How's my systems running? How am I aligned? I break out my journal. I make a coffee or a tea. I change it up. Depends on, as women, I can say this, it depends on all these luteal phases we have.
Right.
If you understand that, you don't have to trigger your hormones. You can drink a tea versus a coffee. So I adjust per what my body's season is. And puppy love, you have kids love. Any kind of meditation or movement, because to say meditation to me 20 years ago would have been a trigger for me.
Okay.
Now I live this and I sit still and quiet and my mind is like clear. And I think that's why I'm sparkling. Is
Yeah.
I change my words to myself and I use those, whatever you want to call it, mantras, prayers, intentions, mindset. I tell myself, I am sparkling health. I have sparkling health. It's crazy you think I'm sparkling because
I
I've been
think you are.
years telling myself sparkling health. Because what does health look like to you? I want to be healthy. You have to know what health means to you to be that. So I'm clearly winning because I'm sparkling. The
Yeah.
second thing in that is your hydration.
Yeah.
Your blood needs water, your brain needs water, your heart needs water. Room temperature water. I pray on my water, whatever you want to call it.
I
Thank you.
think I think
You
it's
can't.
amazing that you're saying that. And I just want to, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to make a note of this for everyone, because for the longest time, I thought being healthy meant physical, working out, taking your vitamins. But it wasn't until I got on my healing journey that I learned mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. So you're about to just discuss about, like, you pray over your water. Like, it's all connected. You can't just do one without all of the other things.
And you
So
just, I mean, like I'm going to tell you, I do essential oils versus medicine cabinet, like it depends on what I need that day, what herb
okay.
I'm using. And I constantly am using lavender or rose because those are high, powerful plants that change your energy within seconds. So when you wake up, you check in, maybe you're a little groggy. I use the oil. I take those 10 breaths because those past 5 breaths get to 10 before you do anything, and you'll notice your whole day is different.
Yeah. So
Your
I
life,
think that, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, I think the biggest takeaway that people really should, the names and labels can sometimes throw people off. Like, some people don't like the word meditation. So I say, like what you're saying, if wake up, sit and pause, check in with yourself. And then when you check in with yourself, like what you're saying, see what your body needs. And it doesn't take long to check in with yourself. I mean, we're all super busy and we all have so much going on, but it literally takes like 1 minute to check in with yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's and scientifically proven you can change the way you feel by the way you think. I mean,
Yeah.
you
It's so
know,
true.
you don't need me to tell you because it's out there, it's everywhere, it's proven. And so with the mindset is how I carry my day and I align myself. If I have a big day with clients, I practice every day because that's what I do. It's my life is in a physical it holds these emotions. So physical workout's good for me, meditation's good for some. It's steadfast, guys, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if you're wiggly. There's your journey is going to be your journey. You're not going to just sit. Like, I remember sitting with monks and being like, oh my gosh, how long do I have to do this? 5 days? What? Silence, like being silent with yourself. But you notice your energy shifts, right? Like I see you glowing and sparkling too. And, it turns into your power. Um, I feel it in people when I move around, and I try to shift into love. And that's the second thing, is gratitude and love. Like, you can do all these things for yourself, but do you believe it? Are you feeling love from yourself?
Yeah.
So I tap in because that's something I had to learn. I had to learn what love meant. What does love mean? And every day I visit that. Every morning before I go out there, if I can shift my perspective from all these programs, all these systems,
Hmm.
and you regulate your systems and you pause, everything you do comes to you. You shift out of the blocks and bridges that people say, and you just shift into this awareness. It all comes to you. And when I started believing from my heart, I started living in coherence, basically. And that's the whole the whole journey, is living in coherence. I can give you
Yeah.
all the tools, but do you feel it from your heart? Do you feel love and what love means to you? You move through love all day. So especially with children, I don't have children, but my dog,
Yeah.
she ate my sound bowl thing. I'm like, where's I can't play sound because my stick's gone. But instead of reprimanding her, the lesson was, when you pause, I saw it with love. And as a human, I shouldn't put a stick that looks like a chew toy near. So you just shift from that to that. And I carry my whole day like that. That's like the best tip, is hydrate, mindset, lean into it, whether you're paused, meditation or whatever. Give yourself, even if it's in the shower, guys, give yourself 5 minutes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
those in order and shift that into love and whatever love, whatever you can do to get to that alignment, that journey, and it needs to lead with love.
I think that's a powerful way to transform and shift. And I think people like, let's remind everyone that like it's not going to be perfect, but it's like every day, just try and little by little. It's like the mindfulness is like a muscle and you just got to use it little by little and it gets stronger each day. And the next thing you know, you're taking 10 minutes in the shower instead of 5 minutes and you set yourself up for success. And it's just who you just become, everything you thought you could never be.
And for all of our busy listeners, like you're not alone. Me and Cari can always give you tips, but just play a meditation in the car when you have that wait before you rush to the next thing. Because even when I do sound spoiled now because I've lived the lifestyle. I work the work, like every person I work, every time I work with you, Cari, I learn more. So I learn, you learn, I learn. And this is this karmatic, beautiful path, but you can have time to pause in the car. You don't need to close your eyes. Just listen to the meditation. Listen to different music that doesn't make you faster. Try to cut stimulants, and so you can lean into your stuff, and
Right.
journey. Don't compare your journey. It's your journey. You're one of a kind, and we're only here to walk each other home and share our stories. So it helps each other guide to our inner teacher, not to the outer teacher, like you said. Everything's in here.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We're all here to walk each other home and tell our stories.
From that.
And lessons are our blessings, people. I love this. These are seriously. I'm getting a t-shirt made for that with that.
Yes.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because you really went out and did this whole entrepreneurial journey. I want to know what Disco Dharma is.
Yay. Yeah. So it's actually my girlfriend's fitness line, and we did a collaboration. I feel so lucky that she even brought me the opportunity because I thought that was so much bigger than myself, and that's what happens when you do this work. You stop playing small.
Yeah.
And other big opportunities start showing up when you trust yourself, you love yourself, and you got to believe in what you want. And that just came to me. So it's a fitness line, very soft materials, eco-friendly materials. And right now we just did the last launch. Is my logo is an eye. And I know it's called evil eye for some. But for me, I wanted it to be a circle coming from your heart and the eye coming from your soul.
I love that.
And that way, everything you see, what I was just saying, is shifted from how you feel inward. So it's a projection of how you feel. So I call it eye of protection versus evil eye.
Evil eye.
And that's been like a great blessing on this journey, is to be able to, like I said, change the story. But in history, we keep repeating history because we're teaching it. We're teaching anger and separation. And this is not acceptable for me. So I am not teaching that. I am not separated from anyone. We are humans. And this is how you feel with love when you lead with that. So every time I see my logo on a pair of flops or a yoga line or a bra bag, I feel like I'm spreading love more than what I already do. And I'm just really just trying to plant seeds of love everywhere.
Well, you are. You definitely are. And I love what you said. It's a big reminder. It's like stop thinking small. Stop just thinking you deserve small. Think big. Go big or go home.
Think big or go home. And a big part of me wants to go back and just change what I was just saying, is change history and allow children the opportunity to learn mindfulness. And part of the proceeds of that yoga line goes for children for mindfulness. And something we do weekly is we go teach mindfulness to children here in Miami. And I see how fast it spreads. They take it home. They might not even have healthy environments, but that mindset and the child, go give your grandma a hug, thank your teacher, thank your sister for helping you. They change their energy, and energy changes around you to every human you touch. And imagine that if your children are spreading this love and mindfulness. So when I see that on the Disco Dharma, that's like one piece of my baby. The other pieces are my retreats. And this is where you get more than a 75-minute session with me.
Yeah.
We do all day for 5-6 days, nothing but this. And you leave just like you
A
need
different human being, I bet.
and that's the part of, lead with love and teaching love in movement, teaching love in breath, teaching love in how we speak to each other. It's it's not easy. All this comes from our programming, so like you got to know what these things mean to you.
Yeah.
It means a lot that you and April from Disco Dharma see me as this catalyst to love, and I feel seen.
I hope that you do, because you are a catalyst for so many things, and the world needs people like you. And it really is an inside job, and it's a good reminder. And also that you're spreading the love, you're teaching people these tools, even if we're in our 40s and things we should have learned when we were a kid, you're helping people change their story. And
Yeah.
that is truly amazing. I would
Yeah.
love to ask you, what is one piece of advice that, whether it's like trauma or stress, that someone has shared with you? Because you travel over the world, you have studied all of the different areas of yoga, from science to spirituality. What is a piece of advice that someone has passed to you that you would like to share with everyone today?
Let's take a breath into that, because there's just so many.
I know.
One piece of advice to process and integrate is to I would say my best advice would be to pause and lean into it and to breathe through it. I know that's not one, I was like, it's going to lead to like this. Become the observer of what you're witnessing versus what you're witnessing. Again, this takes more than 10 and 20 breaths.
Yeah.
It takes patience, commitment, dedication, heart change. And every moment, every second that you're feeling it, if that pain is existing, come find me or Cari and let us help you work through it. But yes, pause. Notice, is this story serving me? Notice that it's in the past. Why would I give that power? As soon as someone told me that, I think I was 20 years old, reliving the car accident over and over. What could I have done different that this girl didn't lose her legs? Even though I was hurt, I was the one hit. I was worried about the girl. I was traumatized by what I saw. I couldn't stop it. And that's when that real empath, but I changed the story. Both of us are still alive. We don't know each other, but we live different lives. I became a superpower of helping people live through these energies and change the story. So I stopped leading with, I had a horrible accident at 19 years old, and I say I had an incident that changed my life, and I got to meet all these healers, and I just changed the whole story. Why keep telling the story if it's not leading into the lesson or the blessing or the glory or the purpose? You're just allowed to have power. Don't give trauma power.
I love that.
Like, it's so hard to put that into one lesson, because you need to pause, breathe through it, get through the layers of what this feels like, get down here, down under the deep soul, and observe it, and then stop giving it power.
Yeah.
And that takes work.
We can use the power for other things. Like, don't give your past and the trauma power. Use your power for your healing, for rewriting your narrative. Use your power in other ways. Don't waste it on the past and the trauma.
100%. And if you survived that, like I look back and like I survived something that gave me obstacles, and those obstacles are now what I teach.
Yeah.
I teach how to get through pain. I teach how to get through stress. I teach how to overcome burnouts, and every person's so different. But when what happens is sometimes you're giving that to the next person, like you're giving that story, and it's changed. Because
Yeah.
I'm 44 years ago. My dad's story was that my mom manipulated him to have me. So I was an unwanted child. My dad's in my life now, and we have repaired this story. He does not tell that story. He loves me. I'm his
Yeah.
daughter. That's,
Yeah.
you don't give that story power, but when I'm helping people heal, I can tell the story in a group setting of people that are mindfully listening and want us to share. That's when you share the pain.
Yeah.
Help each other heal. That's the biggest part of it. It's not one thing, but I would most definitely say, what were the lessons behind it?
Okay.
And lead with that.
Oh, you're just such a gem. Where can people find you? Because I know you're based in Miami. You do retreats worldwide. Where can people find you? How do
Yes.
they contact you?
The best ways on my website, it's Tifftopia, TIFFTOPIA.com. And I'm also on Instagram as Tifftopia. And yes, I have an amazing wellness healing retreat coming up in June in El Salvador. So if you can take some
Oh,
time,
wow.
get off the grid, turn the phone off, get in nature and practice with us. Morning, day, night. And that's how you do it.
Tiffany Levy, thank you so much. I just want to say we are going to lead with love. We are going to change our stories. We are going to accept that the lessons are the blessings. And I just want to thank you for your time and your wisdom and everything, your presence. I appreciate you, and I'm grateful for you speaking with me today.
Ever honored. It's my honor, and keep going, girl. Keep go.
I love you.
Love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this week's episode of Surviving Roots. Let's continue this conversation as a community. For more updates about the show, remember to subscribe on iTunes to leave a review. Also, there will be some special bonus footage from the show on Instagram at Cari.fund. I'll see you there.